Hi, my name is Mina Salami, Director of Partnerships at Rise, and today I'm here with Victoria Rodriguez from Meta for our second annual prediction series, a series where we sit down with our CEO, some risers, as well as some of our partners like Meta to talk about what's to come in 2024. Victoria, thank you so much for joining me today.
Mina, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Can you start off by talking a little bit about your role at Meta?
Sure. Yeah. So I've been at Meta for just about 6 years. I'm an agency partner here, which means that I work with agencies just like Rise.
And it's been fun to partner with you this past year. So excited to have you join our series this year.
Very excited to be here.
So let's jump in. What are your predictions for 2024?
So we actually have 3 areas of opportunity looking forward into 2024 from the platform. First is going to be AI. Second one is going to be data readiness and automation. And then the third one is going to be Reels for performance branding.
All right, let's start with AI. I know that's a very broad topic. So what can we expect specifically from Meta within the AI space in 2024?
Yeah, so we see AI as a huge area of opportunity, not just for ourselves as a platform, but also for our advertisers and for our agencies. I think traditionally people on social, right, have marketed towards some things like buying audiences or buying placements. AI is actually focused on buying outcomes. And I think leaning into that thought process moving forward is really where we're going to start seeing an uptick in the overall value and potential for the brands that are advertising on the platform. There are 2 main areas that we have focused a lot of work on in the AI space. The first one is in our generative creative AI. Late in 2023, we actually launched and released our first iterations of this to Ads Manager. But looking forward into 2024 and beyond, we want to see that generative AI become even more useful to advertisers in the sense of being able to give them a way to create something that's specific to their brand voice, but has multiple iterations that are all created by AI. The second space that we've spent a ton of time and energy and will continue to is in the ads delivery and in the targeting. So think about our Advantage Plus suite. We're only going to see that expand. We're only going to see it grow and get better and better.
Yeah, it's clear that AI is a pivotal area of focus for Meta, and it was very interesting to hear about buying outcomes versus buying audiences and placements. So I imagine that there will be brands that are going to be hesitant to relinquish control when they're looking at especially targeting. So with that, do you have any early stats of performance for the Advantage Plus suite that you can share with us?
Totally. I'm actually so glad you asked. So generally speaking, with the usage of our Advantage Plus suite, any advertiser will see a change in uptick in value and performance. So that's a more general kind of statement and stat that we've seen. More specifically, so Advantage Plus Audiences is one that comes to mind for me. It's one of our latest releases for the Advantage Plus suite. And what we have seen is a 28% decrease in cost per click, lead, and landing page view when utilizing that product versus your standard campaign setup.
Well, it's a great stat to consider. And building on that, knowing your next prediction is going to be around data readiness and automation, how do you advise marketers who are hesitant to embrace automation and machine learning?
Great question. So I think automation scares a lot of people because think of automation as like this big black box that they have no control over. And the reality is that AI relies on the data inputs that the savviest of marketers are putting into it. So there's no net new information coming out of AI. What it's doing is taking and relying on the good pieces of data that you give it and creating all of these different computations and permutations to that data to drive, again, for the best outcome.
I'm glad that Meta thinks about it in that way as well, because our CEO, Larry Fisher, has been saying for a while now how brands really need to think about input-ready data in order to take the best advantage of AI marketing and gaining that control back in terms of leveraging automation. So with that, what are some of the inputs or data that brands can use to gain that control back?
Yeah, it's a great question. We think about this concept as fuel and freedom. So fuel is the actual data itself that you're inputting into the system. So think about anything from your CAPI integration to the creative that you're selecting to run with your campaigns. The second part, the freedom part, is really where that AI and automation comes in. So those are the areas where you're willing to relinquish control and allow the system to make as many computations and permutations of that data that you provided it to come to the best possible outcome.
I love that. Fuel and freedom. It's, we got to give your marketing team an award for that.
They deserve it.
It's pretty snazzy.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like we're running out of time, but I definitely want to hear your last prediction. What is it?
Our last prediction is going to be Reels. We know that Reels, and we've seen that Reels have become a more and more powerful tool on the platform, and we're only anticipating that to continue. So 3.8 billion people use our platform monthly, and half of the time that they spend on the platform is spent consuming video. We've seen a 21% increase in the usage of Instagram since Reels' launch in 2021, and I don't think that that's a coincidence.
Well, I'm not surprised. I know I consume a lot of Reels as well, and Reels is continuing to grow, and it makes sense for a lot of brands, especially when we think about consumer products. But what do you envision for other brands, for example, lead gen brands like financial services or insurance?
Yeah, so we're actually already seeing those verticals be positively affected by the usage of Reels. Reels, unlike any of our other placement, it brings people there in a discovery mindset. And that discovery mindset is so important to the overall advertiser journey on the platform. We know that half of the Instagram users on the platform visit a Reel at least once a day.
Wow.
So your audience is definitely watching them, whoever you are.
All right, you heard it here first. In 2024, Meta is predicting that AI will be a fundamental part in creating your content, targeting, as well as advertising outcomes. For AI performance, quality data is key. And finally, Reels will be an essential format for marketing performance. Victoria, I want to thank you again for joining me today, and I'm excited for an amazing 2024.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.